wanted to remember someone who will forever be a young man to me because he lost his life in the Vietnam War at the age of 19. He was my next door neighbor in Waycross, Georgia, and he was 5 years older than I. But he and his brother Joe, we had a bond, and we lived next door to each other for 7 years. And during that time, there was almost a brotherly relationship there. And Al chose not to go to college right out of high school. He chose to go into military service. And so he was trained as a medic to go out into the field and to attend to the wounded during critical portions of the Vietnam conflict. And I'm talking about right now, 1968. I had just gone into the 10th grade. And I remember just a month earlier, the emotional day when Al left to report for his orders to go to Vietnam. And certainly with his mother and father, they were on pins and needles about potentially the harm's way that he could be in. But he wrote his mother a letter shortly after he reported to duty in Vietnam. And he said, I know that there's a chance I may not come home. But he said, I also remember the scripture that says, greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his friends. And if that's what happens while I'm here, then I'm good with it. Well, only 4 weeks after being in Vietnam, he went back out after mortar fire was exploding all around him, but there was a troop that was wounded, and Al went back out to attend to him. Well, as he did, mortar shell exploded in his face, and it took him. And for me, it was probably the first time that I ever realized in totality that this life is not going to be forever. At 14 years old, you think it's going to be. And I remember all of a sudden, we came back from lunch in my 10th grade history class, and the word spread like wildfire that Al Sirmans had been killed in Vietnam. Did he die in vain? Absolutely not. And in Trinity Methodist Church in Waycross, Georgia, there is a library that is the Al Sirmans Memorial Library. It has been that way for more than 50 years. And it still is a testimony to the sacrifice that he made as one who at 19 years old had what we all had hoped would be a great life ahead of him. But he remembered that line in that scripture. Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his friends. As we observe the closing of Memorial Day, let us remember that with all of those who may be in our families or for those who are in history, who have laid down their lives for our freedom. I'm Steve Beverly. We'll see you next Saturday night.